even in the worst of times, back in the 70s, I never saw anything like this. I never saw my native Texans turning into jailers who torment children. I never saw my native state detain babies in cages. I never saw children being hungry and thirsty. And I never saw families being ripped apart at the shreds with very little hope of being reunified. Y'all, it's not like we're new at this business. We've sort of been separating families since 1492.
That's right. That's right.
We sort of began our national history by pushing people away, by pushing people off of their native lands. So y'all, it's time for us to stop. It is time for us to treat people like people.
Amen.
We are Americans. We don't do this. Or do we?
No.
Do we want families to be separated forever and a day?
No.
Do we want our prison system to become for-profit businesses?
No.
Do we want child adoptions to take place against the will of their parents?
No.
Do we want people in cages for months at a time?
No.
Does any child deserve this?
No.
Does any mother deserve to have her baby ripped from her arms?
No.
Does any father deserve to drown in the Rio Grande with his little girl on his neck?
No.
I've had enough. Have you?
Yes.
So are we going to remain silent?
No.
Are we going to allow an American version of the Holocaust to happen in silence?
No.
Never again. Never now. 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 I don't know about you, but I know that my vote counts. My vote means more today than it has ever meant in my lifetime.
Yes.
So it's up to you, it's up to me, it's up to all of us as citizens of a country who remember what it's like to be human, who remember what it's like to be welcoming, who remember what it's like to be an immigrant or a refugee seeking home, seeking peace, seeking a future for their kids. Let's not let Donald Trump and the current administration to rip the American dream out of our arms forever. We are better than this.
That's right. That's right.
But if we allow these atrocities to take place right underneath our arms, then maybe we aren't. Maybe this is who we are. Y'all, there are kids held in detention in Towson on July 12th. We're going to rally at a facility, and we're going to try and save the kids. Will you be there?
Yes.
Will you speak for those who cannot speak for themselves?
Yes.
Will you reach out for those whose arms have been stilled in the desert?
Yes.
Will you remember? Will you remember?
Yes.
This time, this place, our country, we are better than this.
Yes.
Are we? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm Monica Kennedy. I'm pastor of the Catholic Apostolic Church in North America, St. Charles. And I just need to unequivocally say we have concentration camps now
Yes.
in the United States of America that house children.
That's right. That's right.
Children and 16-year-olds that apparently were told to drink from toilets martyred, basically, by neglect. And we cannot stand for this. We cannot call ourselves people of faith in any capacity and tolerate concentration camps in the United States of America. This is what we fought the last World War for, and we need to make sure that wherever we see an opportunity to speak and act and prevent any further deterioration of our republic, we must act as people that we must act as citizens of a republic that is under assault. That's it.
Thank you. Can you still hear us? Okay. I know, it's because we have to get closer. So our next speaker is going to be Zainab Chaudhry from CARE. Thank you, Zainab.
Thank you so much, Susan. Thank you all for coming here today. What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! Sisters and brothers, anytime children are locked up in cages on our watch, it is an act of injustice. We know that our country has been culpable in these crimes before. And we know that it is unconscionable for us to remain silent while these acts against humanity continue to perpetuate. I am proud to stand here today with all of you as allies in the fight for justice and freedom. It cannot be lost on us as this week our nation celebrates our 4th of July, our Independence Day, that there are parents who do not know where their children are because our government has separated them and locked them up in detention camps. We cannot want for ourselves something that we do not want for others. It is a basic principle of humanity. It's a basic principle of decency. And so as we get ready to observe the 4th of July, let's ask ourselves, let's have a very honest conversation with ourselves as a nation. What have we become? And is this acceptable? Is it acceptable for babies' bodies to be washed up on the shore of our nation? No! Because they have been seeking the same things that our pilgrims who arrived to America's shores and helped found our country were seeking in the 1400s. This cannot be who we are. We've called this rally to call on Congress and to demand that they act. Yesterday, a delegation from Congress visited Texas, and the testimonies of what they witnessed have been atrocious. I could not sleep last night thinking of babies that were being separated from their families, children being told to drink toilet water for lack of access to drinking water, being told to sleep on cold concrete floors. This is unconscionable. People say these are not concentration camps. People who do not learn from history are destined to repeat it. And if we look at our history, if we look at what the Nazis did to Jews in Germany, this is not that different, and it's terrifying. As someone who studied this in history classes, all of us who have studied this, we know that we have an obligation to act. We have an obligation to raise our voices and stand united to make sure that no child is ever separated from their families by our government. Children have become victims of this government. The party of family values is now tearing families apart.
That's right.
The family the party that claims to be pro-life has caused the death of innocent children.
That's right.
The party that claims to want to make America great again is turning back the hands of time and turning America down a path where our conscience is at risk of never being able to come back from this path again. And meanwhile, ICE is terrorizing immigrant communities. In Howard County and around the country, around the state, around the country, we've seen the impact of ICE and CBP and the terror that they have waged in immigrant communities. And brothers and sisters, it's not acceptable. Anytime any single one of us is afraid, all of us are at risk. And I just want to wrap up with a quote by Frederick Douglass, freedom fighter Frederick Douglass. He said that power concedes nothing without demand. Power concedes nothing without demand. It never has and it never will. And so words are not enough. We're here today acknowledging that Congressman Cummings has stood on the right side of history through his words. But now we are demanding action from him and every single member of Congress to use their power, to do everything they can to shut down these camps, to make sure that the funding that they have is applied towards reuniting families, and to make sure that nothing like this ever happens again on our watch.
Amen.
Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Our next speaker will be Lois Agnew. That's you, Lois. We have time. We're almost done.
I have a reading from a blog from a gentleman who is a very liberal minister. So you guys are really super Christians. You need to get in contact and know John Pavlov because he is part of us. He really is. So this is his take on the children in cages. America, what are you doing today while children are still in cages here in your country? What are you doing? When daughters torn from their families' fathers' arms and infant sons pulled from their mother's breasts are awaiting. What terrified toddler screams at the unfathomable. Thank you. What terrified toddlers scream at the unfathomable instant removal? All they understand is love, peace, and safety. While parents live inside the nightmare of losing that which is most precious, life, after thousands of families are ripped apart, not by war, floods, or disease, but by your elected leaders in the richest country in the world. With all hell breaking loose here in the land of the free, what in the hell are you doing right now? Yay, ladies and gentlemen. Are you seeking a way to rationalize it all the way? Are you trying to shield yourself from a flimsy scripture verse? Are you telling yourself an even shifting story that somehow makes it acceptable? Are you sequestering yourself in the fortitude bunker of your politics? Are you quickly clicking past the pictures in your timeline to something more palatable? Are you moving your gaze past all of it as if that makes it not your responsibility? You are responsible. You know this is happening. That makes you culpable. What happens now? It makes you the keeper of every child lying alone in a nondescript cot covered in silver blanket. It makes you the bystander of a homegrown human rights emergency designed specifically by this presidency to do the great harm to the most vulnerable. It makes you witness to the irreparable emotional wounds of parents without voice or capacity for their children. It makes you completely aware of politicians and preachers you previously endorsed, proving they lack the basic working level of compassion and humanity. It makes you fully complicit in all of you stay silent now. That's the beauty and the hazard in the middle of such abject madness. You get to choose. You get to be animated by the urgency of it into vocal and passionate resistance. So you do nothing and you declare your consent to every bit of it. These are the only options now. You are out of real estate to hedge upon. This is no fence to sit comfortably on. This is no safe middle ground left to stake out. You're either You're either driven by sickness, by the violation to family and child community, or you are abused of it. You either exercise your professional faith, or you do not. Your professed faith, or you deny it. you are either truly pro-life or you should abandon the phrase forever because it's a lie and as it leaves your lips. You extend liberty to everyone, or you prove your patriotism is largely ceremonial. You tangibly move to defend the inalienable rights of every human being, or you declare that these words are of little consequence to you. History is recording these moments, and yes, they're clarifying who we are as a nation, but they are illuminating something far deeper, something much closer than that. They are a mirror to you and to me, revealing in great detail the harshly lit truth of our own hearts that we are forced to reckon with. That is why our responsibility is not just about writing a country's history, it's about creating our personal legacy. I wonder what yours will be. Yes, the children are still in cages here in America, and we are finding out what kind of nation America is and will be. We will find out in these hours and days and weeks to come. We will find out at the voting booth in 2020.
Yes, we will. Yes. Vote them out. Vote them out.
But while children are in cages, you are finding out what kind of human being you are, friend. I hope you can live with what you're discovering.
Thank you. Yes, Lois. Thank you.
So I get to introduce myself. I'm Eric Ebersole.
Come
and-
closer.
Yeah, I'm trying. I know, but you get out of range here.
Yeah.
I'm Eric Ebersole. I'm a state delegate in this area, and so a little more pragmatism here. I certainly agree with you, and I get letters sometimes that are very hateful from people, and then I get the ones that say thank you for what you're doing on a particular issue, and they'll tell me how much they're pleased by what I'm doing, and that empowers me. It strengthens my conviction. I'm going to try to stay good here because I get a little emotional about this. So we're standing outside, and we have a guy here who's on our side. And what you're doing today is you're empowering him. And that is very, very important to him. He can look at this and say, you see what's behind me? I knew it was the right thing. And I know that I will continue to do it even more than before. So this is the right place to be. You don't have to be in an adversarial office. We're sending the right message and we're telling people. And so I will say it's not Make America Great Again. It's Make America Care Again. And make America America again. Okay? Thank you all very much.
Hi everybody. I'm not going to speak long. I'm here, like all of you, because I can't stand by and see children in cages. Children don't belong in cages. Families don't belong in cages. Desperate people just looking for a better life don't belong in cages. And so we cannot stand by and let this happen and watch this inhumane treatment of people who just come here because they want the kind of life that we have. And so we have to not stop here. This is not enough. We have to keep going, and we have to keep fighting. And I wanted to let you know, you may have seen about Lights for Liberty on July 12th. We are hosting a Lights for Liberty event in Towson on July 12th, 7 to 9 p.m. This is a vigil to protest the camps and the detention and the inhumane conditions. They're all over the country, but ours will be in Towson. We've applied for a permit for Patriot Plaza, which is the space right between the courthouse and the old courthouse. And our emphasis is going to be on connecting with groups that are on the ground doing the work, helping people figure out what they can do to help. Because if, like me, you feel helpless, you don't have to be helpless. There are things that you can do. So please come on July 12th. We'll end with a candlelight vigil, but everything up to that will be connecting you with groups on the ground. Thank you so much.
We know it's hot. And thank you for coming out. Our action item is to write postcards to Representative Cummings. We have postcards here. And we are going to present them to his special assistant, Katie Malone. So if you haven't written a card please do so now. If you feel you're too hot, take the card home and you can always mail it. So we're hoping that you do that. We know it's hot, so I think we'll close with our chant. Reunite the families! Close the camps! Reunite the families!
Close the camps!
Reunite the families!
Close the camps!
Reunite the families! Close the camps! Reunite the families! Close the camps! Reunite the families! Close the camps! Reunite the families! Close the camps! Reunite the families! Close the camps!
Reunite the families!
Close the camps! Reunite the families!
Close